Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Shay ends up going to visit Flo at her store, and she walks in and she realizes that all of her products have been taken off the shelves. So she's confused as to what's going on because she thought her and Flo were friends. And when she ends up asking Flo why her products were taken off the shelves, she says that she's upset with Shay because Shay made up with Amara, who she's currently beefing with. And this is the reason why you should stay out of your friends' issues that they have with their other friends, because then when they make up with each other, then you look stupid getting involved in it in the first place. So Shay tells Flo that yes, her and Amara did make amends with each other, but they're not close friends. They're just trying to be cordial with each other and not beef with each other anymore. And I don't think anybody should have a problem with Shay and Amara making up with each other. I mean, there's nothing wrong with people working out their differences and not beefing anymore. So I don't know why everybody is so upset about it. Shay does let Flo know that when she spoke to Amara told her that there was nothing going on between her and Marlin, and that Marlin spends most of the time when they talk to each other crying about how bad he wants to be back with Flo. And she ends up inviting Flo to her tea event because she has this detox tea that she's selling, and she wants it to be a whole women's empowerment event for body positivity and all that stuff like that. And she wants Flo to come, but she wants her to come specifically because Amara is going to be there, and she wants them to work out whatever differences they have. Now, even though Flo agreed to go, I don't think it was a good idea for Shay to try to bring Amara and Flo together this early on. Like, let them work out their differences when they're ready to. Don't try to push it, because when you push it, then things escalate, which they did in this episode. Now, Ching Diamond is in the studio with Derek, and she's recording for a song that he made for her. And basically, while she's in the middle of recording, she gets interrupted by a phone call from her boyfriend in jail, and he tells her that something was found in his cell and now he might get a little extra time. And she gets really upset and she starts yelling at him on the phone, telling him that she just wants to be done with the jail life. She doesn't want to deal with it anymore. She just wants to focus on what she's trying to do with her career. And right now, what he's doing and putting her through is really affecting her. And I just wish that she wouldn't deal with him at all. Like, let him go so that you can focus on what you're trying to do. Because honestly, she didn't even finish the recording in the studio because she stopped to sit down and cry for a moment. And so she's losing focus of what she's even in Miami for over a guy. So Eliza is doing a photo shoot for her oil brand, her castor oil brand. She calls it Foreign, and she ends up inviting Amara to come to support her while she does the photo shoot. And Amara is telling her that the name sounds so, familiar to her because obviously she just went to Estelita's lash event, and Estelita's name for her lashes is called Foreign. So Eliza starts implying that she feels like Estelita stole the name from her and that she had the name first, and then she starts talking bad about Estelita's products and how it's trash. And basically Estelita and Eliza are not friends anymore because Eliza feels like Estelita stole the name for her brand. Now, I don't think the name is that great to begin with, so I don't understand why they're beefing with each other over it. And I don't even know who had the name first and how the other person found out that one of them had that name. So I really don't know whose side to be on in this situation. But Amara starts updating Eliza on everything that went on when she went to Estelita's lash event with Princess Love. She let Eliza know that Estelita was the one who invited Princess to the event, knowing that Amara and Princess had some issues with each other, and that because Princess was so upset about Amara meeting up with Ray J behind her back, she ended up smacking her in the face, and then Estelita jumped in and her and Princess started fighting with each other. Now, the whole situation is messy to begin with. Ray J was being messy, trying to cause trouble. He was purposely going after Amara because he knew that Amara and Princess were friends, and that's the reason why he did what he did. However, Amara wasn't being a good friend in that situation, because if Princess is supposed to be her friend, why would you go meet up with her husband behind her back and then tell her after you meet up with him? So I feel like Princess did have a reason to be upset with Amara, although I don't think that it was necessary for her to smack her in the face. I just don't think they need to get physical over something that has to do with Ray J. Which Eliza made sure to mention that she feels like Estelita is not a good friend because she's the one who invited Princess on purpose in the first place. And I actually agree. I definitely feel like Estelita was being messy when she invited Princess, knowing that Amara and Princess had issues with each other. She did it because she was upset about Amara making up with Shay. Now, during this conversation, Eliza lets Amara know that she fired her friend Van from being her manager and she's no longer friends with him. Now, she wouldn't tell the reason why, but personally, I think that it's because he's messy, because he's been messy so far throughout this season. He's the one that was telling Bobby that, you know, Hot Topic is the one that leaked the information about Trina's marriage, and then he claims that she's the one running a tea page on social media. So he's been really messy behind the scenes. And see, this is exactly why I was saying that Van is messy, because he ended up meeting up with Estelita in this episode. As soon as he's no longer friends with Eliza anymore, now all of a sudden he wants to go to Estelita and tell her that Eliza is not a good friend and that she never liked her to begin with. And he tells Estelita that, you know, Eliza feels like Estelita stole the name Foreign for her brand. And so he's being really messy at this point. Estelita is obviously eating up everything that he's saying, but I just think he's messy. I don't know why he's in their business like that, because if he really cared that Eliza wasn't being a real friend to Estelita, why didn't he tell that to Eliza's face when he was friends with her? Why didn't he tell her she was wrong for pretending to be Estelita's friend? I'm sorry, I just really don't like people who, once they fall out with somebody, then they go to their ops and they start telling everything that the person was saying. And it's like, well, what were you saying in return when Eliza was talking all this shit about Estelita? Because I highly doubt he was sitting there quiet while she talked about Estelita. So he's definitely messy to me. And then he started bringing up these text messages. They didn't really look real to me. I'm not saying that he faked them. They just didn't really seem like a real conversation. He was trying to make it seem like Eliza only wanted to be around her granddaughter if the cameras were rolling. But Eliza did put out pictures and text messages months ago, like about a month ago, of her actually in the hospital with her granddaughter, and text messages and all that stuff like that. So I really don't know what to believe. Now, Marlin ends up meeting up with Amara in this episode to let her know that Flo has been spending time with Allan, because in last week's episode, he almost got into a fight with Allan because he showed up to the studio and he saw that, you know, Allan answered Flo's phone and that he was all over Flo at the studio. So they almost fought. And Amara feels like Flo is doing this to get back at her, which she is. She's doing it to get back at her because she feels like there's something going on with Amara and Marlin. However, I definitely don't feel like Allan is a prize. And Shay told that to Flo earlier in this episode too. She told her that it's not really a come up to hang out with Allan, and it's definitely not. So I don't know what she thought she was doing with that. I'm glad that Amara really didn't react to it and didn't really seem to care. She was upset though that Allan is in town and he didn't contact her at all. She didn't even know he was in Miami, and he hasn't reached out to her about the kids. So he's messy and he's not a good father from what I'm able to see. So he's definitely not a come up. So because Zoe is having second thoughts about getting married to her boyfriend Calvin, she decides that they should go meet up with her pastor so that they can get some advice on what they should do going forward in their relationship. And basically she said that things are not the same in their relationship ever since he became her manager, and she just doesn't feel like there's any romance between the two of them. And honestly, I don't think that they need to stay together at all. I know that the pastor told them that they need some time apart to figure things out, but honestly, I think they need to just break up with each other, and if they end up getting back together at some point, then okay, they can work things out. But honestly, it doesn't seem like Zoe wants to be in this relationship anymore. So Angela White ends up doing this really cool, you know, event where she has former exotic dancers talk to current exotic dancers and let them know how life is like after you're in the club and in the nightlife. And both Miami, Tip, and Eliza end up showing up to support and tell their sides of the story. And basically, Eliza was telling all the things that she's accomplished since leaving the club and the nightlife. And basically, she said that she has a lot of investments and she's a real estate agent and all that good stuff. And then Miami Tip started talking about how nobody talks about the dark side of being an exotic dancer, and people kind of have glamorized it, and she just wants people to know that there is a dark side to it as well. So I thought that this was a really good event, and I think that, you know, Angela White is doing a great job with bringing awareness and really trying to help people be better. But after the event is over and Angela White ends up leaving, then Estelita ends up showing up. She didn't even show up to support the event, but she showed up after to be messy, and she starts telling Eliza and Miami Tip everything that Van told her that Eliza was saying about her. And basically, Eliza really didn't want to entertain it because she said it was beneath her, and it seems like she really doesn't want to give Van any attention, which I don't blame her because he was just being really messy in this episode. So I understand why she really didn't want to give Estelita any answers, but Estelita was doing too much. Like, she was trying to fight Eliza and everything, and it's like, girl, this is not the time or the place to be trying to fight. Like, Estelita needs to grow up. Everything doesn't need to turn into a physical altercation all the time. So it's the day of Shay's tea party event, and she ends up inviting Ching Diamond because she's going to be the one performing at the event, and then she invites Flo and Amara because she wants them to work out their differences. And look, before the event even started, Shay immediately ended up trying to get the two of them to talk. She immediately ended up going up to Flo and asking her if she would be okay if Amara sat at that table, and Flo said that she was fine with it. So basically, Shay ends up going to bring Amara over to the table, and things immediately go left between the two of them. Because Flo ends up asking Amara what her problem is with her, because she feels like Amara is the one that started the issues between the two of them, because she said that when Amara came to her event last season, when somebody tried to put an eviction notice on her door to her business, Amara went up to her in front of people and started asking her if she needed a loan, and she definitely felt like Amara was being shady when she said that. Now look, how Amara said that she wasn't being shady when she ended up asking Flo if she needed a loan, but I definitely feel like Amara was throwing some shade at Flo when she did that. However, I didn't think that it warranted Flo trying to go after Safari, knowing that Amara and Safari were linked to each other. I just think that that was messy of Flo, and that was the reason for Amara, hanging out with Marlin, which really seemed to upset Flo, and that's the reason why Flo started hanging out with Allan. So both of them are being messy in this situation. But then the two of them started going back and forth with each other, and Amara brought up that she felt some type of way about Flo teaching Black women not to love themselves because she sells bleaching cream on her social media pages. Now, I don't know if it's bleaching cream. I know it said that it was like a turmeric soap or something, and I know some people use that for discoloration or hyperpigmentation, but she said it was bleaching cream, so I don't know, because Flo didn't deny that it was, so I don't know, maybe it was. But Amara was definitely dragging Flo in this conversation. She started basically saying that Flo's businesses are all a flop, just like her boobs. Like, she was really coming for Flo hard. But Flo definitely took things too far when she started talking about the color of Amara's skin, because I saw some people in the comment section saying that Amara talked about Flo's skin color first. And so I thought that going into watching this episode, but then when I watched the episode, I saw that Amara didn't make a comment about Flo's skin tone until Flo made a comment about hers. So Flo is definitely in the wrong in this situation. Now, they both were being messy, but I definitely feel like Flo took things too far. She started throwing in Amara's face how Allan talks about her dark skin, because he definitely did that last season. He called her a black bitch and said nobody wants her black ass. He said something like that last season. And so Flo brought that up in this conversation. And then she started saying that dark-skinned girls are jealous of light-skinned girls. And it just got really messy. So that's when Amara clapped back at Flo and called her yellow and funky. And so look, the skin color comments towards each other was really messy, and it was too much. I definitely feel like Flo was wrong in this situation. You don't have to talk about her skin color, especially because she didn't talk about Flo's. Like, she talked about Flo's after Flo talked about hers. And so that's the reason why I'm saying that Flo is the one that's in the wrong. They both made a comment about each other's skin color, but Flo was the one who made the comment first. So she's the one that's in the wrong, because Amara only did it because she was clapping back at Flo. It was just a really messy situation, and now people want Flo off the show, and there's just a lot of controversy. This reminds me of the situation with Erica and Spice last season. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.